What's up, YouTube? This is Galactic God, and I'm coming at you today with my Chaos Dragon deck list. Now this is, of course, going to be the same Chaos Dragon deck that I was using in the recent duel videos, so if you'd like to check this deck out in action, I will have the links to those duel videos down here somewhere at the bottom of the screen. So make sure you go there, watch those videos first, come back and let me know what you think of the deck. And so what I'm going to do is kind of run through all the card choices I have for this deck, kind of give a little bit of reasoning behind them, and then kind of talk about some of the combos and such. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so for the monsters, we are of course playing 2 copies of the Lightpulsar Dragon and 2 copies of the Darkflare Dragon. This is of course a deck based around the new Dragons Collide structure deck, so I wanted to use both of these dragons in the deck build and kind of see how they do and what their worth is in an actual Chaos deck. So for the most part, I tried to build the deck around the strength of these cards so that I could use them to my full advantage and all that kind of stuff. So it is kind of a very interesting kind of Chaos hybrid build. That said, we're playing 3 copies of the Red-Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This of course is pretty much a staple in any kind of dragon deck, and he works really well with the theme of the deck in general. That said, we're playing 1 copy of the Red-Eyes Wyvern. This is just kind of teched in. It's not really the main focal point to get Red-Eyes out, but if we're going for some sort of crazy future fusion play, or we already have a Red-Eyes in the graveyard and we want to use Summoner Monk play to get Red-Eyes Wyvern in the graveyard, that'll work as well. From there, we're playing 3 copies of the Eclipse Wyvern. This is of course the brand new super rare in the structure deck. This guy is kind of your tutor to get to the other big high-level monster dragons. Plus he's light, so he works well. So you can go into crazy combos with Summoner Monk, which we're playing 2 of. Essentially, you summon a Summoner Monk, get out your Eclipse Wyvern. That way you have a light and dark both on the field. Then you can go into an Exceed, either Utopia or Roach or whatever. So you're guaranteed to get both your light and dark monster in the graveyard to set up for big plays later. The only tuner we have in the deck is 2 copies of the Effect Veiler. This is of course to stop any kind of big level, monster effect action from your opponent. Plus, if you need to, we do have the synchro option with these guys. From there, we got kind of standard boss monster lineup. We have Gorz, Dark Arm Dragon, 1 Chaos Sorcerer, and of course our BLS, boss monster of any Chaos deck. Some people are kind of wondering about the Chaos Sorcerer tech. They say it doesn't fit. We already got enough remove and light and dark monsters in the deck. You don't really need this. But I of course kind of disagree, seeing how it is in there. Chaos Sorcerer can kind of help pave the way for the Black Luster Soldier. Let's say your opponent has some sort of crazy monster, whether it be a Zen Mains or a Stardust that you're having trouble getting around. You can bring out your Chaos Sorcerer to remove that threat. Thus now your opponent needs to waste some sort of resource to get rid of your Chaos Sorcerer. Probably the same resource they would have used to get rid of your Soldier. Now that they're out of that resource, you can then summon your Soldier and hopefully it go for game. Alright, and that's going to kind of do it for the monster lineup. Alright, for spells, we're going to start off with, of course, Future Fusion. No dragon deck is complete without a copy of Future Fusion in. Lets you dump all your big level dragon monsters so they can be used for either Chaos plays or perhaps going for a Red-Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon play with a Wyvern and stuff. We're also playing quite a bit of Dark, so Allure of Darkness is a good draw power card. Foolish Burial works quite nicely in this deck as well, as we can get any kind of light or dark monster in the graveyard that we may need at the time, including our Lightpulsar Dragon that we can then special summon out using its effect, or if we already have a Red-Eyes in there, we want to get the Wyvern in there, we can do that as well. From there we got Mind Control for all of our Exceed and Synchro plays. We're playing 3 copies of Pot of Duality. Now, of course, there's a lot of special summoning in this deck, but there can also be a lot of dead draws since we're playing a lot of high-level monsters that require some sort of special summoning condition. So having Pot of Duality in your deck allows you to dig for answers when you've gotten that really bad hand. Plus, the 2 copies of Summoner Monk allows you to make Pot of Duality discard fodder when you don't need it and you're wanting to special summon. So you got kind of a double function in the deck. That said, we're also playing 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. A lot of people don't dig on 3 in their deck. I, for one, am a big proponent of always trying to find a way to include 3 copies of Mystical in your deck if you can. Allowing Summoner Monk to be in there, of course, makes that extra MST at discard fodder if need be. But usually I do end up using it to destroy my opponent's back row because a lot of players are using a lot more traps in their decks lately. From there, of course, we just got staples, Darkhold, Monster Reborn, and Heavy Storm. And that's going to do it for our spell lineup. Okay, pretty standard stuff when it comes to traps. We got 2 Solemn Warnings, 2 Dimensional Prison, 2 Fiendish Chain, one Torrential, and a Compulse. I kind of like this kind of build in my trap lineup. Gives me a lot of different kinds of options for any kind of scenario, whether it be Solemn Warning, of course, for just getting rid of any kind of threat, Dimensional Prison for, of course, Stardust or anything else, Sangan, that kind of crap. Fiendish Chains are in here for Insectors, Windups, Shenanigans. We also got Compulse for Zen Mains and whatnot, and Mass Removal with our Torrential Tribute. Okay, and that's going to do it for our trap lineup. As for the extra deck, of course, no dragon deck is complete without our 5-headed dragon. Of course, we always want him to come out with our future fusion plays, but usually our opponent tends to have some kind of solution or answer to get around this big guy from ever coming out. I've also toyed around with the notion of including Dragon's Mirror so that I can go into him a little bit easier. Obviously, I'm not using it in this deck build. Dragon's Mirror can also be used as discard fodder for Summoner Monk, so it kind of has that kind of advantage with it too, so it's not necessarily a dead draw. But in the comment section down here below, let me know what you think of including Dragon's Mirror in a Chaos Dragon deck build, if you think it's kind of a wise choice or if it doesn't really belong. From there, we have our Exceed monsters. We're playing just 2 number 39 Utopias and 1 Steelswarm Roach. Usually my first choice is always to go for Utopia. It's usually a stronger boss monster in my opinion. Although, depending on what kind of deck you are playing, going for Steelswarm Roach is not necessarily a bad idea either. Also, a big component of what I pick is depending on what I need mostly in the graveyard at the time, whether it be dark or light. If I already have enough darks in there to bring out maybe Dark Arm Dragon or something, I might not go for Roach unless I desperately need to. Same thing said for Utopia, if I need to get an extra light or if I need to get an extra dark. It just depends on the circumstance and the deck I'm playing. I'm also not playing any rank 3 Exceed monsters in my extra deck. It's because I don't actually have any level 3 monsters in the deck at all. So the only way for me to make an actual rank 3 would be to Monster Reborn one of my opponent's level 3s and then mind control another level 3 over. A highly improbable scenario, so I did not choose to include them. From there, our level 5 Synchro monsters are Magical Android, Catastor, and TG Hyper Librarian. For level 6, we have Brio and Orient Dragon. For level 7, we have Ancient Fairy, Black Rose, and Arcanite Magician. Arcanite can be made quite easily by having used your already spent Chaos Sorcerer and then summoning an effect failure and going right into Arcanite to get a couple more destructive powers. Also, Summoner Monk is a spellcaster, so if we Reborn or Mind Control over one of their tuners, we can easily make it with that too. From there, we have Scrap Dragon and Stardust Dragon for our level 8s. And, of course, Trishula for our level 9. And that's going to do it for our extra deck. This, of course, is my Chaos Dragon deck build. It is a work in progress, so if you have any comments on what you think it is that I could do to improve this deck, make sure you leave them down there in the comment section. I'd greatly appreciate that. Also, if you'd ever like to duel against this deck on Dueling Network, you can come find me there. My screen name there is simply Galactic God. One word, so come find me and ask to duel with me against with this deck. I'd love to do some playtesting there with it as well. And I guess that's it for now. This is Galactic God, out.